This is News 25 with Deanna O'Donnell and Unette Gentry. News 25, local news you can count on. News is brought to you by J.K. Nelson Law. Give them a call, 727-9900. Today's news is also brought to you by Gunny's Air Conditioning and Heating. New service and repair. Call Gunny's 775-727-6800.
Welcome to News 25 here on KPVM TV and Ace Country Radio. I'm Deanna O'Donnell.
And I'm Unette Gentry. It is Thursday, August 18th.
Well, the BLM is offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible for shooting and mortally wounding 5 wild horses in mid-November in 2021. This happened in Jakes Valley, about 30 miles west of Ely, Nevada. The BLM Ely District Bristol Cone Field Office on November 16th of 2021 was contacted by a member of the public who had discovered 5 mortally wounded wild horses in Jakes Valley, approximately 2 miles south of U.S. Highway 50. The remains were located within 600 yards of each other. An aborted fetus was attached to one of the dead animals. One horse was still alive but wounded so severely that it had to be humanely euthanized. A necropsy revealed that the animals ranged in age from about 18 months to 6 years. The horses were killed on or about the day that they were reported. Anyone with information about this incident is encouraged to call the BLM crime hotline. That number, 775-861-6550.
In other area news, according to Las Vegas Metro, a firearm has been recovered in the Lake Mead National Recreation Area on August 17th in close proximity to where one of the human remains has been found. Police say although it's not uncommon for firearms to be found at the lake, it is too early to determine whether or not it is connected to the current bodies that are under investigation. Las Vegas Metro Police said that they received a report that a citizen has found an unattended firearm. An officer responded and recovered that weapon. It was a journalist who located the firearm and alerted investigators.
Well, some good news. Death Valley National Park's most popular sites will reopen to the public this Saturday, August 20th, just 2 weeks after a historic flood unleashed massive record-setting rainfall and caused millions of dollars in damage to roads and facilities. Several park roads remain closed, so visitors should plan ahead and not rely on GPS. Maintenance crews from the California Department of Transportation, or Caltrans, have been working to reopen State 190, the main thoroughfare through the park. The National Park Service is responsible for most other roads within the park and has been working to clear them to make them safe for the public. Visitors will only be able to access the park via State Route 190 and Panamint Valley Road. All other paved roads, including Badwater Road from California 178, all access roads via Nevada 374, Beatty Cutoff and Daylight Pass, and North Highway Scotty's Castle Road will remain closed for repairs. All roads through the park were closed to the public on Friday, August 5th due to severe flooding. The park, which is approximately 1,400 miles off roads, includes 200 miles of paved roadways, was affected by debris, shoulder road loss, undercutting, and pavement loss. Workers assessed about 600 miles of roads and 200 miles are deemed impassable. Park officials say that there are still about 800 more miles of road left to assess. Crews from both agencies spent the last 2 weeks conducting damage assessments, making critical repairs, and clearing tons of debris and dirt from the roadways. The park is vast, about 3.4 million acres. It's about the size of Connecticut. National Park Service officials advise when visitors return to the park, they should exercise extreme caution and respect the closures. Some of the park's most popular sites will reopen to visitors this weekend, including Furnace Creek, Visitor Center, Badwater Basin open only from State Route 190 but closed south of Badwater at mile marker 17, Golden Canyon, Artist Drive, Devil's Golf Course, Natural Bridge, Zembrowski Point, Dante's View, Mesquite Sand Dunes, 20 Mill Canyon, Harmony Borax Works. Other attractions will remain closed indefinitely, and some park roads may remain closed for days and months depending on the severity of damage. Motorists should also expect temporary delays and lower speed limits when traveling throughout the park. They may also encounter one-way traffic control stops and limited shoulder parking. They should also watch for loose gravel on the road that may impact windshields and tires. Backcountry roads are still being assessed, and the park does not have information about the condition in many areas. The public should be aware that hazardous conditions, including missing shoulders, steep drop-offs, and impassable areas on backcountry roads. And of course, on August 15th, the Department of Transportation's Federal Highway Administration announced a release of $11.7 million in emergency fundings to repair those roads. If you missed any part of that press release, it's on our KPVM Facebook page. We'll return in just a moment.
You're watching News 25, the most recognized and farthest reaching local news in Nye County. News 25, local news you can count on. This segment of News 25 is brought to you by Lisa Spahitz and Mike Plasmeyer at Country Financial Insurance. Auto, home, life, and commercial. 775-727-8920.
Welcome back to News 25. Well, 3 suspects appear in Justice Court this morning in front of Judge Gus Sullivan.
Erica Eisenloffel, Angela Ashley Garano-Bolt, and Daniel Bills appeared in Pahrump Justice Court this morning in front of Justice of the Peace Gus Sullivan. The trio is facing murder charges for the death of Eisenloffel's 19-day-old child in October of 2021 here in Pahrump. Bills was represented by Nathan Gent, who appeared first in this case.
Your Honor, for the record, I've had the opportunity to be able to meet with Mr. Bills, review his file with him, and answer all of his questions. At this time, the state has not conveyed an offer to Mr. Bills, so as such, we are going to be confirming the preliminary hearing date set for next Thursday and go from there.
Ronnie Boscovich represented the 2 female defendants, Erica Eisenloffel, Angela Ashley Garano-Bolt. All 3 are being held on $1 million bail. The case began when medics were called on October 20th of last year for a report of a baby choking at a home on Duck Creek Road in Comstock Park. That child was reportedly in very poor condition and subsequently died. The Nevada Department of Investigation took over the case because Eisenloffel's father is an officer with the Nye County Sheriff's Office. Following a lengthy investigation which uncovered that the child died as a result of dehydration, malnourishment, and possibly had methamphetamine in its system at the time of death. The suspects include Erica Eisenloffel, the father of the child, Daniel Bills, and Angela Ashley Garano-Bolt. Investigators on the scene said that the newborn suffered unjustifiable physical pain or mental suffering as a result of abuse and neglect from the time of his birth until he was approximately 19 days old. One of the child abuse charges stems from the defendants allegedly failing to feed the child and or failing to provide the child with sufficient fluids such that the infant experienced the pain and suffering of starvation and or dehydration over the course of several days before dying. The child allegedly suffered additional mental and physical abuse due to living in squalor, with investigators describing the home as severely unhygienic and filled with excess clutter, trash, and or filth, with drug paraphernalia, debris, human waste, urine, and or feces on the floor and or walls and other disposed of in unsanitary fashion. Such conditions allegedly may have contributed to the child contracting a life-threatening infection, the complaint states. One of the child abuse charges also accuses Erica Eisenloffel of breastfeeding the newborn, who was born premature while using methamphetamine. Boscovich said in court today that the district attorney's office was working on a deal in this case.
Today is very simple. I reached out to the state on Monday for an offer to potentially resolve this case. I was told that they are working on it. So far I haven't received one, so at this time we'll just confirm the preliminary hearing date for next Thursday for both Ms. Eisenloffel and Ms. Garano-Bolt.
Chief Deputy DA John George approached Boscovich after the case was done and said that there is no deal in this case and walked out of the court. When the DA, Chris Arabia, was asked for comment following this court case, He stated to News 25 that he has no comment at this time. All three defendants will return to court on August 25th at 9 a.m. for a preliminary hearing in Justice Court. Well, Nye County District Attorney Chris Arabia says he's committed to prosecuting anyone caught furnishing dangerous drugs to the public, and that includes 3 suspects now charged in the death of a person here in Pahrump.
The final of the 3 suspects is being charged with murder after allegedly furnishing a drug to an individual that eventually died as a result. Joshua Sanchez Lopez has now been transported to Pahrump to face charges. He was being held in the Clark County Detention Center after being arrested in Las Vegas in late April. Sanchez Lopez is one of 3 people that the Nye County District Attorney's Office is charging in this case, in which the victim, a 26-year-old woman, died after ingesting drugs that were laced with fentanyl. The 2 other suspects, Charles Coleman and Marissa Ogden, were arrested in April of this year in Pahrump. Nye County District Attorney Chris Arabia wants to hold accountable those who furnish dangerous drugs to the unsuspecting public. Ogden and Coleman were arraigned in July, and Sanchez Lopez was seen in Pahrump Justice Court earlier this month. Coleman was back in front of 5th Judicial District Court Judge Robert Lane last week. At that time, his attorney, Scott Holper, asked that his client's case be continued for 90 days. The judge agreed and set Coleman's next court date for November 7th. District Attorney Arabia tells News 25 he takes this case seriously and hopes the message is clear that he will hold accountable those who sell these dangerous drugs on the streets. He goes on to say the law clearly states that if you provide drugs to an individual and they die as a result, you can be charged with murder. Arabia also says his office is looking at pursuing charges in a separate case in which another person died as the result of a fentanyl overdose.
And police say an inmate on a work parole program takes advantage of that freedom by stealing a tractor.
The Nye County Sheriff's Office has arrested a person by the name of Kevin Salisbury. Deputies say that they collaborated in an investigation on a federal suspect regarding an investigation for a stolen Skylift tractor, estimated cost of $80,000 to $100,000. During the course of the investigation, which began on August 13th, they learned when speaking to the reporting party that Salisbury was currently on federal probation in the care and custody of a school that was reintroducing recently released inmates into society. They observed that Salisbury was driving a tractor and contacted the Nye County Sheriff's Office dispatch due to their belief that Salisbury was not allowed to be in possession of the tractor. Nye County Sheriff's Office deputies contacted the probation officers in charge of Salisbury's release. Deputies say that they also received a prowler call. The reporting party at that time advised that a white male adult was peering in the windows of a residence and fled the area when the individual noticed them. At that time, the deputies made contact with an individual who met the description at Terrible Herbs Country Store on Highway 160. At that time, the individual provided the name and date and birth of a person by the name of Doc Severinsen. When ran through Nye County Sheriff's Office dispatch, there was no match to this individual. Deputies on scene spoke with parole and probation, and they identified the person as Kevin Salisbury from a photo. At that time, they say that Salisbury possessed erratic movements, specifically involuntary movements with his fingers and eyes. They appeared to be bloodshot, according to deputies on scene, and that Salisbury attempted to avoid eye contact and had erratic speech. They say that this behavior specifically showed symptoms of being under the influence of methamphetamine. Salisbury refused to provide a blood sample for evidentiary testing. Deputies applied for a telephonic search warrant, which was granted. At that time, Kevin Salisbury was placed under arrest for a grand larceny of an auto, and he was also placed on a legal 2000 hold based on suicidal comments and actions made after the arrest. He was transported to the Nye County Sheriff's Office Detention Center.
Well, there's good news on the jobs front in Nevada. That and more when News 25 returns.
You're watching News 25, brought to you by Mountain West Lawyer, Injury Attorneys, 727-9500. Also brought to you by Silver State Health. Visit silverstatehealth.org or call 702-471-0420 for an appointment. News 25, local news you can count on.
Well, according to the Nevada Department of Employment, Training and Rehabilitation's July 2022 economic report, Nevada added 7,700 jobs in July. Employment has fully recovered all the jobs lost in the pandemic and is now up 12,200 jobs from February of 2020. Employment is up 78,400 since July of 2021, an annual increase of 5.7%. The total employment level in the state is 1,461,800. The state's unemployment rate in July is 4.4%, down by 0.3 points, and from 4.7% in June, and down by 2.2 percentage points when compared to July of 2021.
And speaking of employment news, as part of the state's ongoing efforts to align the public workforce system, the Department of Employment, Training and Rehabilitation announces that effective immediately, all of the state's public partners will align as part of the new Employ NV system. The Nevada Job Connect offices and one-stop career centers will now be called Employ NV Career Hubs. While Employ NV Career Hubs will help job seekers, Employ NV Business Hubs will help businesses with employment needs. And this change will eliminate confusion and enable staff to streamline services, but will not change opportunities available for any job seekers. Clients visiting Workforce Employment Development offices should expect to see all service providers now housed under one roof, utilizing one name, offering a one-stop shop to businesses and employees.
Most of us carry around some pretty important data on our phones, so it's important to have a backup plan. Today, our go-to tech guy, Josh Osborne, has Great Computer Deals here in Pahrump, has some tips.
Hi guys, Josh Osborne with Great Computer Deals. It's time for another quick tutorial, viewer question edition. One viewer asks, how do I back up my phone's data? Great question, but I won't be able to give you step-by-step instructions on this one. I will say this though, most smartphones are either iPhone or Android, right? So if you have an iPhone, you're gonna wanna go into your settings and search iCloud Backup. This will allow you to choose what gets saved and when, pictures, songs, videos, etc. Now, if you have an Android phone, there are a couple options, but the easiest is to download and use an app called Google One. This app lets you choose what gets backed up and when using an online storage location called Google Drive, which comes free with every Google account. Keep in mind that some of these options will cost a yearly fee once you require a certain amount of storage space. Why trust a technician when you can trust a friend? Great Computer Deals is located at 1190 East Highway 372. Call us at 775-990-8833.
Well, are you a physically active person? If so, in today's Medical Minute from Spring Mountain Medical, Dr. Jacob Steckel advises us that recovery is an integral part of any fitness regime.
This Medical Minute is brought to you by Spring Mountain Medical, healthcare the way you've always imagined it.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jacob Steckel with Spring Mountain Medical, your hometown health and wellness provider. Today I'm going to talk about recovery from active lifestyles and sports. Fitness is on the top of people's minds these days. Sometimes an active lifestyle can lead to pain or injuries that sideline you. Recovery is a critical part of fitness and an active lifestyle. The joints, connective tissues, muscles, and other parts of the body can become inflamed, causing pain and disruption. Using a variety of advanced recovery techniques, we can resolve pain and limitations without medications and the possible negative side effects. Either get back in the game or stay on top of your game. Choosing to utilize physical manipulation and treatment can free you to live a more active and vibrant life. Come see me today. I'm Dr. Jacob Steckel. This has been a Medical Minute brought to you by Spring Mountain Medical.
News 25 WeatherCam is brought to you by Lerner and Rowe Injury Attorney's Office in Pahrump. In a wreck, need a check? Call 702-877-1500.
You know, I've been liking the cooler nights. They're a little bit cooler.
It is beautiful outside. There are fluffy clouds in the sky, but we do see that blue horizon. Will there be more rain or sun in the forecast? Find out next.
News 25 weather is brought to you by Dairy Council of Nevada. The splash of cream in your coffee, the dollop of sour cream on your burrito, the melted toasty cheese on your pizza. Undeniably delicious, undeniably dairy. Enjoy what's real.
Hi, good evening, Nevada. It's John Kohler from the KPVM Channel 25 Weather Studios on a Thursday evening. Beautiful weather map we have for you today. I think it's the end of the monsoons and the start of the heat again. Here we go, late summer. Fernley, Fallon, 87, 91. Carson City saw 88. Cool spot in the state today, Tonopah and Goldfield locked horns at 86 degrees. And it looks like Tonopah came out with a low of 59 tonight. So you win the Cool Spot Award. 97 out in Beatty. Amargosa saw 101 uncontested. You're the hot spot today. 96 in Las Vegas and 112 out in Death Valley. Ooh, it cooled off to 112. How nice. All right, back here at the Paradise of Probe, it's 97 degrees and 99 just a little bit earlier. Southwesterly winds to 11 miles per hour gave us a gentle, whispering, cool breeze throughout the day with that humidity at 22%. It needed something. It was a little bit muggy. Sun rose this morning at 6:04. Setting this evening at 7:30. And check that out. A low tonight of 78 degrees under partly cloudy skies. You know we're going to have a gorgeous sunset with those clouds and that humidity at 38%. Smells like distant rain. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe let's take a look. Tomorrow? No. Look, Saturday. Oh, there it is. There's the rain. Temperatures back up into the triple digits. Not unusual this time of year. Glad we get out from under the moisture a little bit. Looks like we might get a little bit on Friday. And then 3-4 clear days starting about Saturday, Sunday. Very nice. Maybe some wind towards the middle of next week and a little bit of rain with it. So we'll look for that. Keep an eye on it. But I think it's all dying out on this monsoon stuff. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Making our plans for the weekend. Back to the desk. Here's Deanna.
All right. Happy recovery, Greg. That's all we got to say. Good night.
Good night.